New York City Mayor Eric Adams has relaunched his re-election campaign as an independent candidate. Adams made that announcement on the steps of City Hall today. He had previously cited his federal bribery case as his decision to stay out of the Democratic primary. Of course, that was before the Trump administration moved to dismiss that case against him. The move also comes in the wake of Zohran Mamdani's historic win in New York's Democratic primary for mayor. Local and national leaders are now trying to figure out what his success will mean going forward. In CBS News New York's Bauman spoke with Mamdani earlier today. He talked about what he thinks about the future of the Democratic Party and what it should look like.
I think it should look like anyone who's focused on working people, because ultimately that was what made me proud to become a Democrat, and so many Americans feel the same way, and yet for quite a while have felt as that we've left our roots, we've left our focus, and it's time to come back to that and show that Donald Trump's attempts to speak for working people are just looking to exploit the despair that they are living through, not actually sincerely responding to it with any kind of proposal that would deliver them out of it.
And Allie joins us on set now. What a whirlwind, I want to say 24 hours this has been for him, but it feels like a whirlwind year. Just what he's been through and what the city has seen with him. What stood out to you the most in your chat with him today?
Yeah, you decide to run for mayor. Yes, that's a high-profile position, but it's still local politics. And it really seems that he's been thrust into the national spotlight in a way right now, especially after that historic victory on Tuesday. And it was one that I think even came to a surprise to him. Of course, he was expected to win, but how quickly it came and how decisively it came was really something that Democrats had been paying attention to this race before, but are really looking and watching at how that success had been able to be achieved in this way.
Yeah, and there's so many factors that you can point to as what's behind his success and how he's been able to galvanize folks and build up this momentum. How have Democratic leaders responded to him now being where he is today?
Yeah, he told me that he has been fielding calls from Democratic leaders across the country ever since Tuesday night. But his reception to the party has been mixed in a way where, for example, Senator Chuck Schumer, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, they congratulated him, but they're not going as so far as to endorse him in this moment. There are some moderate Democrats who are distancing themselves in a way. Mamdani is a democratic socialist. Some saying that they have concerns over his stances and especially some of his past stances. Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania even called his win a gift for the GOP in a sense. But of course, there are many Democrats still who are rallying around him, especially seeing what he was able to achieve with this primary of getting the youth vote out in this election, and something that the party in itself has been struggling to do. Congressman Jerry Nadler, for example, had not endorsed him in the primary, but is now endorsing him in the general election, and even comparing his reception to voters as the reception to Obama in 2008.
I know, especially when you see someone that is that young and that charismatic getting this kind of attention. The board is changing right in front of us. Midterms still nearly a year and a half away at this point. Is there any sense that parties are going to be changing their approaches, the Democrats or Republicans, based on what they're seeing here?
Yes, and this was the Democratic primary in New York City. So does New York City speak for all Democrats across the country? Of course not,
Yes,
right?
right?
But I think that whether Democrats agree with him or not on certain issues, there's no doubt that he was able to bring out a younger vote and really bring out more people than was expected. This was a record turnout in this election in New York City, and it was his campaign focused on affordability. That was the main line, was affordability. And he was able in this election to win some districts that had voted for Trump in November. And he focused on lowering the rent, lowering the cost of living, lowering the price of groceries. And that is what I think really resonated with voters. And that's what Democrats across the country are paying attention to.
Yeah, I think people all across the country can talk about affordability. Allie, always very good to see you. Thanks for being with us on set.
Thank you.